So again, a good idea to stay hydrated and make sure that we are hydrating our outdoor pets at this time as well, because things are going to be really nice and toasty as we move into this fabulous Sunday. 81 degrees for our friends in Great Falls, widespread sunshine in the Electric City. What about conditions for Billings? Also 81 degrees, low wind speeds even in the Billings area. Fabulous conditions for our friends in Helena with a high of 80 degrees. Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there.
Alina Margot, thank you very much. Now let's head over to our Share the Good and congratulate all the new Montana grads out there. Yesterday, over 2,000 students graduated from MSU in Bozeman, while today at the Adams Center in Missoula, over 2,000 students received their diplomas from UM as well. Coming up tonight on NonStop Local, we'll be looking at one small business in Bozeman during National Small Business Week and why it matters for the larger economy as the city, as well as the new mural that's been unveiled at Missoula's airport and all the work that went into it by local artists. But first, the details on a Legionella outbreak that has been reported at a hotel in Billings and what is being done since. All that and more coming up right now.
Covering the content connecting your community. You're watching NonStop Local Montana at 5.
Good Saturday evening. I'm Ethan Jamba, and thanks for tuning in to NonStop Local. We begin in the world tonight, where according to the CDC, more than 100 people have gotten sick in a norovirus outbreak on a cruise ship. 102 passengers and 13 crew members were reported sick on the cruise ship operated by Princess Cruises. The CDC says they have been isolated, and the cruise line says they quickly disinfected every area of the ship and added extra sanitizing throughout the voyage. The ship left port in Fort Lauderdale, Florida late last month, and according to the CDC, this is the 4th gastrointestinal illness outbreak on a cruise ship so far this year. Most notably, the cruise ship suffered a hantavirus outbreak. Moving on, a Billings hotel is at the center of a Legionella outbreak, and health officials say 3 people have already gotten sick. Riverstone Health is now investigating the Howard Johnson on Manoli Lane, and our Rachel Kindred has more on this.
Officials say it started with a single patient at the end of March. But as Riverstone Health dug deeper, they found this wasn't the first time someone got sick after staying at the Howard Johnson in Billings.
We were notified around the end of March that there was a case with Legionnaire's disease who was hospitalized, and we knew that we had 2 previous cases in 2025 that were also epi-linked to this specific exposure setting.
Cook says officials took 40 water samples around the hotel, and 26 came back positive for Legionella. The bacteria thrives in water systems with low disinfectant levels and spreads through mist. While the fatality rate is around 10%, the vast majority of those infected end up in the hospital.
It also really affects people who are over the age of 50, are previous or current smokers, and have a weakened immune system with some type of pre-existing condition like diabetes, cancer, getting chemotherapy, that type of background.
Riverstone Health says anyone who stayed at the hotel in the last 30 days and is experiencing symptoms like fever, chills, shortness of breath, or stomach issues should contact their doctor or go to urgent care and mention the possible exposure. Now, the hotel is currently undergoing water remediation, a process that takes about 2 weeks. Officials say the water is still safe to use at this time. Guests just might notice a strong chlorine smell. Now, we did reach out to hotel management today, who declined to comment on the story. Riverstone Health says this is currently the only hotel in Montana with a confirmed Legionella case. For a full list of symptoms and what to do if you think you've been exposed, you can find that information on our website, nonstoplocal.com. Reporting in Billings, Rachel Kindred, NonStop Local.
Rachel, thank you very much for your reporting on that. We're now continuing our coverage over in Glacier National Park, where the park has officially released the identity of the missing hiker whose body was found following a bear encounter. The hiker has been officially identified as Anthony Polio, a 33-year-old man from Davie, Florida. His body was discovered around noon Wednesday after crews searched for him on Mount Brown Trail. Search and rescue teams found some of Polio's personal items on the trail before finding his body 50 feet off of the trail with injuries consistent with a bear encounter. The trail is still closed while this incident remains under investigation. All right, keeping things here in the Big Sky, let's pivot off of news and check in on our local weather. And to do that is none other than our weather forecaster, Elena Margot. Elena, what do we have coming up in the forecast?
Ethan, good evening to you. Good evening, Montana. What a day it was today, and tomorrow is going to be even hotter. Let's take a look at the next 3 days. Get you set up as we move into the start of the work week. Great Falls, Helena, and Bozeman all seeing daytime highs reaching the 80s, if not tomorrow or the next day. By Tuesday, lows dipping down to the 40s, then lows dipping down to the 50s. So really no concern for your flower pots in terms of lows. The concern for your flower pots will be in terms of daytime highs. Keep those flowers hydrated. I almost let my hydrangea shrivel up in the sun because things were so warm today. Billings, Miles City, and Cody also seeing daytime highs way above normal. We ought to be in the 60s at this time of year, even 59 to 64 degrees, not the 70s or 80s, but we will let it slide because, of course, it's Mother's Day weekend, and hopefully mothers will appreciate this fabulous weather. Lewistown, Glasgow, and Glendive on a very similar trend, 70s and 80s. Wait till you guys see my 7-day outlook. A couple of these areas could see daytime highs reaching the 90s for the first time of 2026. Kalispell, Missoula, and Butte also seeing widespread sunshine. Daytime highs reaching the upper 80s as soon as Tuesday in the Missoula Valley. Low 80s as soon as Tuesday for our friends in Butte, America. Again, lows dipping down to the 50s and 40s over the next couple of nights here. Don't go anywhere because in just a bit I'll have a longer look at that forecast and a detailed radar that brings us way more sunshine to the Treasure State.
Elena, thank you very much for that. All right, moving over towards Bozeman, where we're taking an in-depth look at the local economy as National Small Business Week wrapped up today. Our very own Michael Teeple sat down with a local business owner in Bozeman to see just how impactful supporting local business can really be.
Tatum Johnson has been at the helm of one of Bozeman's most popular stores for a while now.
I am born and raised Bozeman local lady. I ended up going to school in Georgia at Savannah College of Art and Design. Once I got back from college, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I didn't know how to get a job. And that was so intimidating to me, so I just figured I would start my own job.
Intrigue Inc. opened in downtown Bozeman back in 2011, started by a pair of sisters in their family's garage.
I was able to convince my sister to somehow join me in my adventure of learning how to screen print t-shirts via YouTube. We had a handmade screen printing press. We made all of our own frames. She was my artist, and we just started hopping from farmer's market to farmer's market, from trade show to trade show.
Intrigue Inc. is one of many small businesses in Bozeman that have become a cornerstone of the community, supporting its local economy, especially during National Small Business Week. Not only do retail jobs in the Gallatin Valley bring in revenue, but they also create jobs. Of the different industries in Gallatin County, retail leads the way, creating more than 9,000 jobs from 2017 to the most recent data published in 2022. Within downtown Bozeman, retail vacancy space also remains at a premium, with a vacancy rate of just 1.5% since 2025, meaning small businesses on Main Street aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
I think small businesses are what give towns personality and character. They reflect the locals that actually live here, the makers that actually live here, who support and care about the community.
You can stop by Intrigue Inc., open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 12 East Main Street. Reporting in Bozeman, I'm Michael Teeple for NonStop Local.
Michael, thank you very much for your reporting. All right, moving on, we have an important consumer alert involving some popcorn seasoning. JCB Flavors is recalling its sour cream and onion seasoning because it may be contaminated with salmonella. The FDA says the company initiated the recall because the seasoning contains a milk powder ingredient that was part of a recall issued from another company. No illnesses have been reported so far, yet the FDA says testing by a third-party lab has not identified any contamination. Consumers should stop using the product and contact the company for more information. Meanwhile, dog owners should also listen up as well. Albright's Raw Pet Food is recalling a single lot of its chicken recipe for dogs due to a possible salmonella contamination as well. The lot code is C001730 and has a best by date of April 28, 2027. They were sold directly to consumers nationwide, and meanwhile, no illnesses have been reported in connection to the recall. However, consumers should not feed the food to their pets and throw out any unused product. They can also contact the company for a refund. Alrighty folks, it's about that time where we have to take a short break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be checking back in with weather.
Welcome back, everyone. What a Mother's Day weekend it has been. You know, if my mom had her way, she would bring summer-like weather to her own Mother's Day. Unfortunately, northern Minnesota is 50-degree highs and windy, so I wish she was here with me for this Mother's Day. Highs to the 70s and 80s for Mother's Day. Then as we move into Monday, a chance for some early morning precipitation, gusty winds, but still warm, dare I say hot conditions persisting, and those will last into this time next week, even a couple of days worth over 90 degrees, if you can believe it. All right, latest drought monitor improving since this time last week, especially in the Kalispell area. Still worst conditions of all between Cut Bank and Great Falls, as well as southwestern Montana, closer to Dillon, Montana. We do desperately need moisture across the state. Unfortunately, my 7-day outlook suggesting things should stay fairly dry and very, very warm, way warmer than we should be for this time of year. Futurecast wind gust model again suggesting gusty conditions to develop into Monday. For the most part, Mother's Day morning, 20-mile-an-hour gusts possible between Livingston, areas like Cut Bank and Billings. Then we start to see those winds picking up. 30-mile-an-hour gusts possible by the late part of the evening. 30-mile-an-hour gusts possible again in south central Montana, closer to Livingston. Could see something similar to develop in the eastern plains and closer to the Rocky Mountain front in the very early part of Monday morning. Those winds phasing into the eastern plains by the later part of Monday morning, still bringing 30-plus mile-per-hour gusts to areas like Jordan and Glendive, then exiting, leaving leaving us and going to bug our friends in the Dakotas. Let's take a look at what we can anticipate across the state of Montana in terms of highs for Mother's Day. Well, 80's the name of the game for Livingston, Billings. 85 going to be the hot spot in the state for Missoula. 70's for Lewistown, Miles City, and the Gallatin Valley. West Yellowstone should be 70 degrees today. Compare that to 84 degrees in Lewiston, Idaho, and again, 85 for Missoula. Wet weather phasing out Saturday night leaves us with widespread sunshine for Mother's Day. Don't forget the SPF and don't forget to hydrate. And if you're doing mimosas with Mom, especially, do not forget to hydrate. Moving into Sunday night, Monday morning, again, a chance for some brief showers to develop. First in Kalispell, then phasing into Great Falls, scooting across the High Line and leaving us with mostly dry conditions for not only Monday, but the majority of the coming week. There is a slight chance for areas like southwestern Montana to see a little bit of rain as we move into the late part of the evening on Tuesday. For the most part, though, things drying off and leaving us with a dry spell for the next 7 days. So let's take a look at it. All right, 80s sustained in Billings for most of the next 7 days. Could see a 93-degree Wednesday, 91 possible on Wednesday in Miles City. Dry conditions and sunshine going to persist across the region. That includes Cody, Wyoming and Livingston, Montana. These areas should not see the 90s, but the 90s are abnormal for this year, and actually so are temperatures in the 70s and 80s. I don't want folks to forget that. Missoula, Kalispell with daytime highs also warming. A good chance for temperatures to remain in the 70s in Kalispell, 80s and 70s in Missoula. Helena, Great Falls, well, at least Great Falls could see a 90-degree Wednesday. Dry conditions for the next 7. A chance for rain to develop on Thursday in the Gallatin Valley by this time next week. Sustained highs, at least in that area, to the 70s. Lewistown and Glasgow on a very similar trend, dry conditions. Next 8 to 14 days should be above average in terms of temperature and close to average in terms of precipitation.
NonStop Local Weather Tracker. Tracking, alerting, preparing, and protecting from disruptive to severe weather. Just think TAP. NonStop Local on TV and phone. This is NonStop Local.
Welcome back, folks. Now, a new mural at the Missoula Airport was officially unveiled that will capture the essence and heart of the Garden City for those who fly in and walk through the main airport lobby. In partnership with Destination Missoula, 4 artists helped bring this inspiring and creative art piece to life. A giant surfboard, metal flowers and fish, a decorated guitar, and a carousel pony. These pieces all help connect different parts of Missoula together. The display also features an old telephone that directly connects you with Destination Missoula for all of your trip needs. Showing MSO is now becoming more interactive and mixing innovation with creativity.
Was making it the Seasons of Missoula, but using the Clark Fork River as the connector. So it starts with summer at the top, fall, winter, and then spring is at the very bottom. I hope that they appreciate is that, like, even though we can't see it, and that, like, Missoula is a city in a lot of ways, like, the thing that makes it special aside from the vibrant human community is, like, our vibrant artist or an animal community and nature community. And, like,
I'm thrilled to be part of that influence that newcomers get of seeing, oh, this is what Missoulians are about. And yeah, the art and the history are the two main things I would say we're proud of here. So.
It is certainly the largest piece of art in the community, and it's an interactive piece of art. It just doesn't just sit there. People ride it, they participate in it, they can admire it, they can touch it, and that makes it a really important piece of art in this community.
You know, making this pony, art is a journey, not a destination, and so is Missoula. It's a journey, and I think everybody who comes here finds themselves changed by our community, and that's what you get from this whole art installation. They're not just static pieces. Each piece represents a collaboration, a part of the fabric of our community.
Encourages visitors to check out the mural and use the tablets and phone connected to the wall to help make your trip a bit easier. Take another short break, but don't you go anywhere because our sports anchor Adam Rodriguez will have all of your sports news on the other side of this short break. Stay right here, folks.
From the Corwin Motorsports Studio. This is SWX NonStop Local Sports.
Back everyone, I'm Adam Rodriguez, and we're going to get sports started out on the track as the KLH Memorial Track Meet took place in Missoula MCPS Stadium Saturday afternoon. So let's take a look at some of all the action. We're going to get with the girls' 100-meter hurdles in the reigning state champ from Loyola Sacred Heart. Allison Gamma did her thing, runs it 15 flat to grab first, and we're going to say her name a couple more times as she had a strong showing Saturday afternoon. How about the boys' 100-meter dash now? And it's going to be another member from Loyola, Owen Oliver. He gets the first place nod as he runs 11.42 seconds. Go to some high jumps now, and Gamma, the reigning champ, she's getting up and over 5 feet 4 inches. She grabs her second first place finish of the day. Another reigning champ, this time in girls pole vault, Conrad's Ava Krings. She vaults 11 feet to get the top vault of the day. And in boys pole vault, Superior's George Hansen, he clears 13 feet for first place. Girls long jump, Broadwater's Caitlin Noyes jumps 17 feet 10 3/4 inch to grab first. Then what's better than two top finishes? 3. Allison Gamma leads Class B in 300 hurdles, handily takes this one going 45.14 for first place. Then finally boys 400 and Conrad's Ledger Martin. He's got the top 400 time for a reason. He'd stumble off the blocks, but doesn't miss a beat, and he runs 49.87 seconds to take home first. To some high school softball from Great Falls Friday night. As the Bison Rustlers, they squared off in a crosstown thriller. Our Josh Dugan has all the highlights.
The battle for Electric City softball bragging rights went down Friday with CMR and Great Falls squaring off on the diamond in their first crosstown meeting of the season. CMR hit the plate first as they were the visitors, and they wasted no time getting going on offense. Leadoff hitter Signe Hansen drilled one to left center field, and it appeared to be a home run, but was called a ground rule double. She would come around to score on a 3-run bomb by Miley Adams, who belted one to right field, and CMR wasn't done yet as Riley Mars hit a moonshot of her own to make things 4-0 in favor of the Rustlers after the top of 1. We'll have more from Mars and Adams later in this one. In the bottom half of the first, Great Falls bounced right back with a leadoff double by Drew Swingley, and the Bison weren't done yet as Ava Newmack got in on the home run parade with a 2-run deep ball of her own to make things 4-2 after the first frame. The Bison got another one back in the bottom of 2 after Swingley hit a line drive to left field, and that deflected off the glove of the Rustlers left fielder and went over the fence for a de facto home run to cut the deficit to 1. Top of the third now, and Mars was at it again as she blasted a solo shot out of the park to extend the Rustlers' lead, and CMR would tack on another in the frame with a Emma McGraw RBI double to make things 6-3. The barrage of CMR homers continued in the top of the 4th, with Adams crushing one to deep center field for her second homer of the day to put the Rustlers up 7-3. And in the top of the 5th, Mars sent one to Mars with an absolute bomb to left center field for her third home run of the day to put the Rustlers up 5 runs. But the Bison had answers. In the bottom half of the frame, Newmack joined the multi-homer club with her second blast of the day to cut into the deficit and keep Great Falls in striking distance down 4. Fast forward to the bottom of the 6th, and the Bison bats caught fire with a leadoff double by Kinsley Reeves, followed by back-to-back RBI singles by freshman Nita Newmack and Landry Moog to make things 8-6. The Rustlers got back-to-back strikeouts after that, but the Bison put together a 2-out rally. Chloe Nash would reach on a single and advance to second, which brought Swingley to the plate with a runner in scoring position, and she'd bring Nash around to score to cut the deficit to 1. CMR intentionally walked Newmack to load the bases, and Avery Rains played the role of hero in the clutch with a single to center field that brought home a pair of runs, and that 2 RBI knock would prove to be the difference as Great Falls held CMR in check in the final frame to pull out the 9-8 come from behind crosstown victory. Reporting from Great Falls, Josh Dugan for SWX.
Right on. Thanks, Josh. Folks, that's going to wrap up sports. We'll be right back.
On over to Elena Margot and check in with that final look on that weather. Elena, what are we expecting?
Happy Mother's Day weekend to all of you Montanans. Let's take a look at what Mother's Day looks like. Hey, if my mom could pick, maybe my mom is Mother Nature. This is the forecast. She would bring us 78 degrees, fabulous conditions, and dry weather. So if you can find a local river, maybe jumping into the Gallatin or the Madison, going to be a good thing to do for Mother's Day in the Gallatin Valley. The Missoula Valley should be 85 or so degrees if you can believe it. Partial cloud cover going to be a lifesaver. Potential for winds to stay very minimal. So again, a good idea to stay hydrated and make sure that we are hydrating our outdoor pets at this time as well, because things are going to be really nice and toasty as we move into this fabulous Sunday. 81 degrees for our friends in Great Falls, widespread sunshine in the Electric City. What about conditions for Billings? Also 81 degrees, low wind speeds even in the Billings area. Fabulous conditions for our friends in Helena with a high of 80 degrees. Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there.
Elena Margot, thank you very much. Now let's head over to our Share the Good and congratulate all the new Montana grads out there. Yesterday, over 2,000 students graduated from MSU in Bozeman, while today at the Adams Center in Missoula, over 2,000 students received their diplomas from UM as well. This also
Ben Weinman, Kathleen Dozier, and Elena Margot, bringing you the content that connects our community. You're watching NonStop Local Montana at 6.
Well, good Friday evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight right here on NonStop Local. I'm Ben Weinman. Welcome to the weekend, everyone. And tonight we're going to start by heading to Ogren Park, home of the Missoula Paddleheads. A food truck festival is underway on the ball field, all to help support a really good cause in the Garden City. And that is where we find our weather forecaster, Elena Margot, joining us live from the field this evening. It's a great night to be out of the ballpark, and she's joined by a special guest.
Yeah, hey Ben, good evening to you. Ogren Park is the place to be, not only in the Missoula Valley tonight, but across the state of Montana, all for a really good cause. I'm joined here by Jasmine, who is the Development Director of Cancer Support Community Montana. Jasmine, could you tell me a little bit about what that organization does for Montanans here in the area?
Yeah, we provide the psychosocial and emotional support programs for Montanans impacted by cancer, so not only the person with the diagnosis, but anyone in their support system. So support groups, one-on-one counseling, education, wigs, retreats across the state, you name it, we're here for it.
Wow, and it sounds like all of those services are free of cost to the Montanans that need the help?
Yes, completely free of charge programs and services. We don't ask our participants for $1, but they are not free of cost.
Okay, this is true. So this brings us to why we're here tonight. This is, of course, a fundraiser. There's a ton of food trucks behind us. So can you tell us how the cash flow works between me ordering a burger and you guys getting some proceeds to help with your organization?
Yeah, so the wonderful food trucks that are here with us this evening agreed to donate 20% of their proceeds from this evening back to our organization, which is huge. So huge shout out to them, and thank you for making that happen with us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. Thank you so much for talking with us today. And Missoulians, if you're watching this on TV, come out, say hi to Jasmine, say hi to me, and get some yummy food this evening. Jasmine, thank you so much. We do have to talk about the weather, so we'll let Jasmine go and do her duties. She's kind of running front of house. She's giving out tickets, stubs, and she's, of course, taking dollars in. So this is a great event, and we are so excited that Missoulians are coming out in full force. Let's take a look at the nitty-gritty of the forecast, starting you with a live look here at Ogren Park. If you squint, you might be able to see me, but of course, I'm kind of joking when I say that when I use my Stockman Bank City Cam, although sometimes it is true. We'll take a look at the Mission Range this evening as well. Mission Range looking fabulous. A little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of wind across the state of Montana. That, of course, not keeping anybody from having a good time this evening. Happy Friday to you all, and happy Friday especially to those who are taking part in this evening. Severe threat for the rest of the evening does not include people attending this event. A chance for some electricity in the air across the High Line and into areas between Billings and Miles City. Current satellite radar picking up on just a little bit of moisture in and around the Kalispell area. Other than that, dry conditions and cloud cover just creeping into western Montana. For the most part, wet conditions in and around Glasgow, between Glasgow and the Canadian border. Of course, it's Mother's Day weekend, so if you aren't celebrating this awesome cause here and you're getting ready to celebrate Mom, well, I've got a great forecast for you. We've got temperatures soaring to the 80s, if you can believe it. It's going to feel like summertime. I'll be back with that.
A fun time down at Ogren Park. Elena Margot, we'll check in with Elena coming up in a few minutes, folks. Let's get to some Big Six headlines for you. On this Friday evening, we begin tonight in Anaconda. Newly unsealed documents revealing more about what investigators say happened inside the Owl Bar the day of the shooting, including new details about the suspect, Michael Paul Brown, and his interactions with police after he was captured. Our DJ Bauer joins us now with a closer look at what those documents actually reveal.
Now, new information brought to light by the unsealed documents reveals more details about what exactly transpired in the Owl Bar on the day of the shooting, as well as what Brown told police after he was captured. According to the affidavit, police reviewed surveillance footage from the Owl Bar showing a suspect identified as Michael Paul Brown entering the bar around 10:30 a.m. on the day of the shooting. Video shows Brown entering the bar carrying a pizza box, bucket, and brown paper bag, using those items to light a fire in the middle of the bar. The bartender, identified as Nancy Kelly, tried to put it out. Brown left, then returned moments later with a rifle in hand, firing at the 4 others inside the bar before fleeing. Police say when they arrived, one of the bodies was on fire, and medical personnel pronounced all 4 dead on the scene. Later on, around noon, officers say they saw a man matching the description of Brown driving off in a white Ford F-150 pickup truck, later confirmed to be stolen. They pursued him into the Stumptown Road area west of Anaconda, where Brown was eventually captured after an 8-day search. Although the newly unsealed documents do not provide further details about the manhunt or how Brown was apprehended, they do provide statements given by Brown in an interview with police after his arrest. Per the affidavit, Brown admitted to the 4 killings in the Owl Bar, saying that he personally knew all 4 victims and, quote, really liked them. It goes on to say Brown offered reasoning for his actions, stating that he was the rightful owner of the Owl Bar and that bar owner David Werder refused to give him the property title. Documents show Brown also told officers that a jukebox in the bar was digitally brainwashing him and that he had started a fire inside the bar because he wanted the jukebox gone. Brown also admitted to taking the white pickup truck without permission, saying that he fled out of town so that no one else would be hurt if additional gunfire with law enforcement occurred. Now, this unsealing comes after Wednesday's status hearing, in which state prosecutors requested another status hearing in 60 days as Brown undergoes both mental and physical treatment at the state hospital before standing trial. Reporting in Butte, I'm DJ Bauer for NonStop Local.
DJ Bauer, appreciate reporting tonight. Thank you. Let's move on this evening. We are continuing to see a growing concern in bear country after a missing hiker in Glacier National Park was found dead in what investigators believe was a bear attack. The remains were discovered Wednesday near the Mount Brown trailhead, about 2.5 miles, from the trailhead near Lake McDonald Lodge on the western side of the park. Now, officials have not yet confirmed the identity of that person that was found, but the discovery comes during the search for 33-year-old Anthony Polio of Florida, who was reported missing earlier this week after telling others he planned to hike towards the Mount Brown fire lookout. And NonStop Local is your election headquarters, bringing you everything you need to know in the world of politics here in the Treasure State. Today, voters have a little bit more insight on their Democratic choices for Congress following last night's debate at the Emerson Theater in Bozeman. Our Michael Teeple, he was at that debate last night. He joins us this evening with more on what each candidate had to say up on the stage.
The Emerson Center for the Arts here in Bozeman played host Thursday night to Montana's first congressional district debate between 4 candidates, all hoping to represent Montana in Washington, D.C. Candidates include Sam Forstag, Ryan Bussey, Russell Cleveland, and Matt Raines. Each took time to discuss why they are running, what they plan to focus on with their campaign, and even what sets them apart from those they're running against.
Let's reform our tax system. Let's make sure that nobody making over $1 million a year is paying a lower share of their income than somebody making $80,000 a year and barely getting by in this state.
One of the main topics discussed was each candidate's desire to make Montana lean a little more Democrat.
Better times are coming. I can feel it in the wind. I know all of you can too. We're about ready to plant a blue flag here in western Montana, something we haven't done for a little while.
Candidates also discussed their vision for health care and child care.
Passion as a dad, sitting inside that hospital room, holding my little girl's hand as she took her final breaths, losing her fight is one of the nastiest diseases that just last year, pediatric cancer research was one of the first things that DOJ cuts. That is why I'm in this race. Not to go take a position in Washington, D.C., to take a desk, but to fight for real change.
And towards the end of the debate, perspective was shared on the war in Iran, with a call for conflict to end.
This is why we have to flip this seat. The urgency has never been greater. We have to put checks and balances so this doesn't happen, and we can make sure that Congress takes back the power to declare war.
Polls for the upcoming primary election will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on June 2nd, while the next Republican debate will be held on Wednesday, May 13th, starting at 5:30 at Superior Elementary School. Reporting in Bozeman, I'm Michael Teeple for NonStop Local.
Michael Teeple, thanks. Let's stay in the Gallatin Valley for this next story. Caps were flying across Bozeman today. Thousands of Montana State University students celebrating commencement. MSU holding their 144th spring commencement ceremonies today at the Brick Bearden Fieldhouse. More than 2,700 degrees expected to be awarded today. The university split that day into two ceremonies. Students from things like business, engineering, and agriculture graduated this morning. Arts, education, sciences, they were honored in the afternoon. Family and friends you see here, they just packed into the Brick today to celebrate the class of 2026. And those celebrations will continue tomorrow on the other side of the divide in Missoula. The University of Montana will hold their spring commencement ceremonies. Full details on those ceremonies can be found on our website, nonstoplocal.com. Let's go beyond the big sky tonight. The widely used education learning platform Canvas experiencing a nationwide disruption. Now, this is happening as universities across the country, of course, they're in finals week, even holding commencement ceremonies like the Bobcats today, the Grizz tomorrow, something both students and staff say made the outage a lot more difficult to deal with.
I'm an online student, so most of my grading and exams and homework is all based through the Canvas platform. So I think that especially during finals week, hearing about, the hacker perspective of it, as well as it being a nationwide issue, posed anxiety about potential data breaches, of course, but also just the anxiety of, are students going to be able to submit their assignments and get their grades in on time? And hopefully, it doesn't affect their GPA. I definitely heard quite a bit about student anxieties.
As you can imagine, when the primary communication method for instructors and students goes down in the final days of an academic semester, it can be a little disruptive, but it's back online, it's functioning, and we believe that there's just minimal disruption.
Well, as of today, Canvas, as you heard, is back online and functioning again. Area universities like Montana State and Montana say their systems are back up and running. Okay, a lot of news tonight, folks. We're just getting started, though. After the break, we're going to head back out to Ogren Park at Allegiance Field. Elena Margot joining us. Full check of your Mother's Day weekend.
Cancer Support Montana knows how to throw a party. I am here. I found one of the brand new things going on this year, mini golf. So I'm not a golfer. I'm not going to lie to any of you, and I don't even know the last time I mini golfed, but I'm going to give it a go, so maybe you can come and do a little bit better than me on this. Here we go. I'm going one-handed because I am holding the microphone. Oh my gosh, you guys. That I was really expecting to epically fail on this. Here we go. Something tells me that's like called a birdie or a hole-in-one. Something tells me that's not called a hole-in-one. Anyway, we're having a lot of fun. Of course, this is Mini Golf Missoula. They're doing a lot of fun things, like they're having mini golf at the Roxy and then playing Happy Gilmore on Sunday. Does it get better than that? I don't know. Maybe this event sounds even more fun. So come on out, spend some money at the Food Truck Festival here in Missoula. Again, if you're tuning in from the Gallatin Valley, the same thing's happening at the Gallatin County Fairgrounds on May 29th. That's a couple Fridays from now, so mark your calendars on that. And of course, it's Mother's Day weekend, so let's start by taking a look at local weather headlines across the state of Montana. Highs tomorrow back to the 60s and even 70s across the region. But for the most part, the hottest day will be on Mother's Day itself. We do sustain in that above average temperature pattern as we move into the early part of next week. Good news is that rain should develop in north central Montana. The rest of the evening tonight, unfortunately, under a red flag warning between Glendive and the Canadian border extending into North Dakota. That's due to gusty winds, a good chance for some isolated thunderstorms, and humidity as low as 10% in that northeastern portion of the state. Moving into our futurecast models, we do have a little bit of rain, but that's good because our drought monitor as of late still picking up on extreme drought between Cutbank, Great Falls, and Dillon. Best conditions between Missoula and Kalispell, and that is actually improving since last week. Moving into our futurecast models, we do have rain developing over Great Falls, Helena, and Lewistown over the next couple of hours, extending down into Red Lodge and sweeping eastward over the next couple of hours. Middle of the night tonight, Great Falls to Lewistown with a good chance for heavy rain that localizes into the Miles City, Jordan, and Broadus areas by tomorrow morning. Lingering showers between Great Falls and Havre, Montana. Then high pressure swings in tomorrow evening and leaves us with dry conditions and warm conditions as we move into Mother's Day on Sunday. Going to be one for the books as we see high conditions moving back into the 80s, and even next week could see the low 90s, although there is a chance for some of that to change between now and then. As we move into the next couple of days, things will dry off, so the best chance for rain will be overnight tonight. Moving into wind speeds, not a major factor. Could see 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts developing in some of the region, but it shouldn't be a problem because that will develop in the central portions of the state that are notoriously windy. Moving into lows tonight and highs tomorrow. Lows tonight should dip down to the 40s statewide. It'll feel a lot like last night did. Moving into tomorrow's highs. Tomorrow we will see daytime highs back into the 60s, which is actually pretty close to seasonal averages as well. Although Missoula, Kalispell hanging on to that sweet summertime feeling and keeping temperatures in the 70s. Next 7 days, there's a good chance for 80s to redevelop as we move into Sunday. Of course, that's Mother's Day, and then sustained highs. Could see a 90-degree Wednesday in Billings, and of course, conditions staying dry across the state of Montana. That includes Cody and West Yellowstone and Livingston, where we do see daytime highs sustained in the 80s as soon as Sunday in that same temperature pattern into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but by this time next week could see highs cooling down to the 50s in areas like Missoula. Kalispell sustained highs this week as well. Dry conditions and widespread sunshine. It's going to be a really nice one across the state for Mother's Day on Sunday in both Helena and Great Falls. The best chance for Great Falls to see rain going to be on Saturday. What about conditions for our friends in Lewistown and Glasgow? Conditions are also going to be fabulous for Butte and Bozeman. Now, I did not necessarily win this, but it is my new friend, maybe a little bit shy. I've also created the most popular hole here at Mini Golf. Something about the dinosaur, and I think this young one maybe is doing a better job than me. Oh yeah, he actually did get the hole-in-one that I've always wanted. So we're having a lot of fun here. Kids of all ages, adults of all ages, and food trucks for literally everybody. I'll be back later in the show, but for now.
Well, tonight we have our latest Help Me Ben story talking about Catholic schooling here in the state of Montana. We are so close to the end of the school year across the Treasure State before the kids go on summer break. But for one school out of the Electric City, this will be the last 4 weeks of classes forever. Recently, a viewer named Amy Lonkey reached out to the Help Me Ben team to share that after 60 years, a Catholic school in Great Falls, St. Patrick's Academy East, is suddenly closing due to financial hardship. In the email you're looking at, Amy said this decision is, quote, against everything the Catholic faith stands on, end quote. We're going to bring in our Michael Santaskoy tonight, joining the Help Me Ben team. He reached out to Amy herself, trying to learn more about the financial numbers and the decision to close the school for good.
St. Patrick's Academy East, formerly known as Holy Spirit Catholic School, has been home to many students, faculty, and staff for generations, but now its future is uncertain after a letter was sent out in March.
We were sent a letter letting us know that due to financial hardships that we would be closing the school down.
A shockwave surging through the school, leaving some faculty heartbroken about the announcement.
We've all grown very close together, and we've become a family in our own right, and the fact that not only are we have to find jobs somewhere else, but we have to leave each other in order to do that.
Amy Lonkey, whose child attends St. Patrick's Academy, says a finance council member told families in a March 25th meeting that the school was about $400,000 short of what it needed to keep operating. She adds no one was made aware of the school's financial challenges prior to the meeting. Lonkey says parents, teachers, faculty, and staff from the school rallied together to come up with solutions to try and save the school. But any marketing or fundraiser had to go through the Diocese of Great Falls and Billings for approval.
We reached out to the diocese for, loans or kind of financial help, and we've been denied. We tried to do some fundraising efforts, but I was informed that, at this time the bishop is not willing to reconsider his decision.
Then last month, the Holy Spirit Parish received this letter from Bishop Jeffrey Fleming of the Diocese of Great Falls and Billings, confirming the closure of the St. Patrick's Academy East School at the end of this year. This decision affects 141 students and numerous teachers, all needing to seek new schools or employment.
It's going to hurt a lot of our Catholic kids to be able to have that schooling and that foundation.
And there's just a large level of uncertainty facing the next school year, what we're going to do. Are we going to be able to teach? Are there going to be positions open for us?
I went to the diocese office to find out if anything was done to try to keep the doors open at the school. I did get in contact with Father Doug Krings for a statement. He says he has nothing to add at this time. For now, parents and teachers tell us they're hoping someone can step in to assist the school in any way they can. Reporting from Great Falls for NonStop Local, I'm Michael Santaskoy.
We'll keep tracking it, Michael Santaskoy. Thank you for joining the Help Me Ben team tonight. And by the way, folks, if you got a problem, you need some help, or hey, you simply just have a cool story, I want to hear about it. You could be my next Help Me Ben. Visit our website, nonstoplocal.com, and click on the Help Me Ben tab under News. Hey, welcome back, everyone. For tonight's Share the Good, we're going to take you out to the ball game or the food truck game one more time. That is where we find our Elena Margot joining us from the ballpark with a special guest this evening. Hi, Elena.
Hi, Ben. Good evening to you. I've made a new friend out of Debbie here. Debbie was diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago, continues on the fight. Debbie, can you tell me a little bit about your cancer fight?
I was diagnosed in 2001 with breast cancer. I had 3 surgeries in months. I got through it, and then it came back in 2 years in my liver. I had half of my liver removed, and then I thought I was going to be done. And then it came back again in 2 years, in 2 places in my liver and 1 in my spine. So now I'm on what they call palliative care, which means I'm on treatment until I decide to nothing to do.
And it sounds like you actually use services from the cancer support community. Can you tell me what services you utilize?
Well, I do counseling every week with a gal there that's wonderful. I always feel amazing. Her name's Emily. Give her a shout out. She's wonderful. And I just met her and her mom and dad today.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy that you're here, and we're so happy that you are having a cold beer here this evening with your husband. Tell Missoulians who are sitting on their couch why they should come out tonight.
Because it's a wonderful evening and it's a great event, and the Cancer Center, or the Cancer Support Group in Missoula, is awesome.
Awesome. You're awesome. And thank you for being here. Thank you for representing. And thank you for keeping that fight on. All right, this is Debbie. I'm Elena Margot here at Oberon Park. We're going to send things back to Ben in studio.
That's awesome stuff, Elena. Thank you very much. Hey, if you battle cancer and you beat it, I think you earned a beer. Probably multiple beers. And hopefully you're enjoying your favorite beverage on this Friday evening as we get into a beautiful weekend of Mother's Day across the Treasure State. Congrats to all the graduates, all those Montana moms out there. We love you. Thank you for everything you do for us. It's going to be a fun weekend across Big Sky Country. For our entire statewide team here at NonStop Local, I'm Ben Wyman. Don't change the channel. We're going 360 at 6:30 right after this.